Hi folks! Welcome back to the new studio workshop for Nibbles and Bites. So what happened? Let's step back a bit. As you can see, I'm in some new digs, and this is something I've had in mind ever since I struck out to find my own homestead in Texas. It's not totally done yet. I'm actually missing a ceiling, but I'm nearly done finishing the space out, and I'm hoping that it will allow me to take you through a full exploration of the vintage computer collection that I have. And this collection has always been big, but I haven't been able to keep it totally available so that I could take the shots or cover the things that I wanted to. Now obviously the channel is primarily focusing on the 128, and that will continue for a long while, but I do have plans to move on to other computer components in this collection. Now one of the things I've been able to do in here is set up a proper electronics workbench, complete with test equipment. And I've needed this since we started the V128 project, but also I've needed it to repair the machines that I do have. Which brings me to my next point. My 128 died. While preparing to do the next video and cover how the VDC works, I noticed that after I ran some basic commands to manipulate the registers, the keyboard froze. So at first I thought it was a fluke until I tried to power it back on and it didn't come up. So I checked the power supply and sure enough, the regulators have failed. It fried 2 of the chips on this board. Unfortunately, this means I can't do my VDC video until my parts come in. Instead, let's go through the VCF West and VCF Midwest footage that I managed to capture in the intervening time. VCF West was held in Mountain View, California this year, inside the second floor of the Computer History Museum. My first stop was the consignment area to see what I could find that hadn't walked away, and there was a ton! From PCs to old-school Macintosh LC2s, and even Vaxen. Just about every make and model of vintage machine a collector could want was there for the taking. But there was far more to see than just consignment. Like the restoration projects on display in the atrium.
I'm Dave Babcock. I'm a volunteer here at the Computer History Museum. And a team of us, 23 years ago, we restored the museum 1620 to real operation. But 5 years ago, we started a new project called the IBM 1620 Junior to build a replica of the 1620.
Okay.
That would recreate the experience of what it was like to see, touch, feel, operate the 1620. So over the last 5 years, we've been coming to VCF. We've shown progressive improvement in the product. We've done the front panel 1 year, we did the console typewriter a second year, and now we're highlighting a virtual card reader punch. And the project is essentially done, and when we complete at the end of this calendar year, we'll turn it over to the museum to use as a hands-on exhibit so people can experience what it was really like to do computing in the 1960s.
In the main hall, there were other interesting projects such as the C64i Remake project by Francis Bernier. So what's your name?
So my name is Francis.
You're Francis, and what is this project?
Online I go by the name Snake Rider.
Okay.
And this is a remade Commodore 64 motherboard.
Right.
Has a bunch of new features, but it has all the original schematics.
Right.
It's a one-for-one Commodore schematic replica,
okay,
plus the free added features.
So you mentioned that you're using the original chips, but you replaced some of them. Which ones were those?
Yeah. Such as the PLA,
yeah,
which is now the Plankton,
and
the 8701 is the VIC timing chip,
sure,
which is replaced by the Toll. These are both made by Slapion. There's 2 banks of ROMs, so you can switch between 2 kernels.
Sure.
There's modern audio and video analog operational amplifiers.
Sure, yeah. So is that going out through an analog connection, or
what
is
you
it
see
HDMI?
right now is video.
I see, okay.
On my third revision, I incorporated Copper Dragon's component video output.
Nice.
There's static discharge protection on all the outside lower
ports.
IO.
Nice. Does that include the joystick ports?
Everything.
Nice. Very, very cool.
All of these in TBS.
Yeah.
The RAM is replaced with static RAM.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
But you can, if you want to use legacy RAM, you can just change the jumper and put a legacy chip.
So what's with the art here?
Oh, this is the Easter egg.
Just an Easter egg. I see.
Like it's hidden under the cartridge port, so you can't see it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah,
Only
yeah.
if you have the bare board, you can see it.
Okay. Are you planning on doing one for the 128?
No.
Ah, okay. Tube Time was also there, with a slew of cards on display, including the Graphics Gremlin, a CGA VGA compatible video card designed to be hackable. This one was set up to run 8088 Domination as a demonstration of its CGA compatibility to great effect. What really caught my eye, though, was a project demonstrating an unreleased part of CP/M that allowed for networking between computers long before IPX became a thing.
These are all the drives that are available, and I have the console is local and this device is local. Neither of those things are actually... You could transfer the console from one place to another using CPNet.
Right, okay.
So if you wanted to have, start up a machine and then transfer the console someplace else so someone else can run it, you could do that.
Sure.
All right, so
makes sense.
Our server ID is 0, and that laptop back there is the file server.
Okay.
So we can, do things on here. We can look at files. We can list all the files that this machine can see. It gives you plenty of time to talk.
Sure, yeah, of course. Okay. And then this machine that you're speaking to right now, this is the laptop behind it, or is this a different machine?
I'm talking to that right
Oh, you're
now.
talking to the RC 2014.
Right.
Okay.
And the file system is being served by a program on the laptop.
Right, okay.
So basically, it's a file server.
Okay.
This is the machine, the computer.
Sure. Okay.
And so you could, say we could run the Cube program off of that, and there's our Cube program running. That's a triumph right there. That took about 4 days of work to get to work.
I can imagine, yeah.
Basically, it's a 3x3 matrix, set to unity, and then I do transform all 3 axes by about 10 degrees, and then run the cube through it. And then I use a Brezhnev algorithm to plot out the bits.
Yeah, okay. Awesome.
So there's all of that. Was going to have it do network booting, but I've got a configuration bug and I can't figure it out.
Ah, I see.
Typical, demo.
Yeah, demo gods.
Demo broken.
And then, other question, is this machine connected to CPNet as well?
Yep.
Okay, so what is this machine?
That's an S100 bus machine.
It's an S100, okay. So you've got an RC 2014, a custom piece of software back there, and an S100 machine, all connected via Ethernet over CPNet.
Yeah.
And with that, VCF West came to an end, and I went home. But before I knew it, the next VCF was starting up, and in a flash, I was there. VCF Midwest was held at the Waterford Hotel in Chicago, taking up most of their convention space, and wow, was this place packed. The halls were lined end to end with vendors, and the main show took up both convention spaces. There were a ton of demonstrations and larger vintage pieces, like this paper tape reader loading in BASIC into an HP 2108A. Yeah, I see that.
And then you would feed that tape to the computer and wait for the phone to second on and off.
That is kind of amazing.
Can you imagine how long it takes to roll up by hand?
Yep, I can. It is fragile too.
It is. I've had to patch this a couple of times already.
Towards the back of the first convention room were a few familiar faces as well.
Yeah, just put that together for fun. Since I had all these components anyway, I just got a rack to put them in. And it's like, oh, now they're all in one spot and I don't have to drag them out individually. So, convenient. Yes.
Besides LGR, Computer Clan was there in force, along with the 8-bit guy. David was selling copies of his games as well as giving larger talks during the day. Just about every possible computer made between the 50s to the 2000s was present in both halls, all running and ready for interaction. From Commodore 64s, to Commodore PETs, to Acorn Archimedes, just about everything was cleaned up, on, and running. Even arcade machines showed up, first turned off and in repair, and finally running and ready to play. VCF Midwest was overwhelming, awe-inspiring, and I hope to go again next year.